Driver's expectations are core in roadway and highway design. And I thought this is a really interesting example of how we can consider driver's expectations and also maintain or accommodate other objectives in our design. So this is a roadway. This is I-85, Interstate 85 in Davidson County, North Carolina in the US. And of course, we drive on the right side of the road. And we have a location here where we have the North Carolina Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park at a rest area. They're co-located. And so the idea is we only want one of these memorial parks. And how can we get both directions of travel to this location and also maintain that driver expectation that we have exits on the right side? So we always assume as a driver, we're going to exit on the right and then merge back in on the right side of the road. That just makes a lot of sense from that's the right side is our slower lane. And so we want to decelerate and then accelerate and merge from that right lane, not from the left lane. And so we see if we put this memorial park is in the median, how can we give access to people from both directions without violating what drivers will expect? And the way that it's handled here is by switching the directions. If you'll notice, there's a little arrow here. So we would expect this direction to be going north and this direction to be going south, but it's actually flipped. And so if we zoom out, we'll actually see where this switch or where this flip occurs. So it's a few mile long segment where this happens. Bridges are needed to accomplish this switchover, but it does allow both directions to access this memorial park. And we can see each direction has its own rest area and the roadways aren't connected, but presumably these facilities share some of the same likely water and sewer resources, and then also both directions can access the memorial park. So I just thought, and I don't have any proof that this was the intention of the designers, but this is what I assume the designers are. So I'd welcome you if you have any other information about this particular location to share it in the comments below. I also have a video that I'll share at the end of this of what it looks like from a driver's perspective. Most drivers that I've talked to aren't aware that the actual directions switch. It's just accomplished by kind of bridges that provide that grade separation for those two directions to cross, and then they cross back after this area. So again, I think it's just an interesting concept of sharing those resources. So cost is part of this, and also having one memorial park that both directions can access while also still maintaining drivers' expectations. There's another example that a colleague in Spain shared with me. This is a location actually in France. Similar, there's a memorial to the resistance during World War II. And we have a very similar design here where you can see both directions, they switch over so that there's one memorial in the center and both directions can access this location from either direction that they're traveling. I'd love to also hear if you know of other examples of this or this type of concept applied in practice. It's somewhat similar to the concept of a diverging diamond interchange where we're switching directions of travel to accomplish some goal, making the turning movements easier. And this is, again, is just a great example, in my opinion, of maintaining those drivers' expectations while also meeting some other objectives or goals.